Hello and welcome to the Monday Show, better known as Bob Randall and Company. Please say hello to the entertainer formerly known as Randall, stand on my head for giggles, but now is known as Mr. Showtime.
Woohoo! Wow, that's Mr. Showtime. That's even cooler. Wow, hi Bob. How are you? Good to see you. Great,
I'm good,
everybody.
Randall.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. It's the old
Yes, it is a
TGIF.
Monday.
Thank goodness it's Monday, everybody. Can't
It is a
believe
Monday.
Christmas is only 183 days away. That is it. Tomorrow's Leon Day.
Oh,
Wow, it's half over, Bob. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's half over already, the year.
it's amazing, man. Again, we no more get into the weekend with blink, and it's Monday, and
Oh,
it's a pattern we seem to talk about week in and week out, but it is amazing how quick the weekends go by.
yeah, it's the whole weeks go by. This was going to be a crazy one for me. I've got doing a festival this week, so I got 5 days in a row of balloons at a festival. So Wednesday through Sunday, back to work. Whoo, again, it's going to be a crazy fun week. Weather's supposed to be beautiful this week, so can't wait. Can't wait.
Well,
Ah,
that's more than I can say for Texas, and I'll keep it short because we're in that summertime pattern. Hot, 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 hot. And as we talked about for such a long period of time, was there was going to come a time when the rain stopped. Well, the rain stopped. Haven't had any rain in a couple of 3 weeks now, and no, none in the future, none in the foreseeable future. So
and
we've
so
hit
you'll
that dry
probably in a
hot.
couple of weeks you'll be all dried up and you'll be wishing you had rain, and that's just crazy how that works. Just
Yeah, and the flowers are already taking the toll of the heat, the afternoon heat, those that are in direct sunlight. So they do good up until, certain time. And then it's just like you can't throw enough water on them and
yeah, you
do the
can.
best you can to make them survive. Luckily, most everything we have come back each year. So every once in a while we have to replace something. But anyway,
Saw the
hot
most
weather here.
amazing rain. You were asking about the weather. Saw the most amazing rainbow last night, yesterday afternoon. It's about 6 o'clock or so. Just, I've never seen that vivid of a rainbow in my life. You saw each one of the colors, even saw the indigo, just as beautiful as can be. I was just, we drove around, parked, had to stare at it for a while. Just phenomenal. The best rainbow I've seen double rainbows and all that, but you don't always see all the colors. Usually, like the purple is usually like you don't really see. It was amazing. So it was just a light sprinkle. 90, it was like 85 or so. It was beautiful. Today was gorgeous. Get out and mow this morning, man. 60 some degrees to mow this morning. Oh, I love Michigan weather right now. I'll change
I'm
my tune in a couple weeks, of
very,
course, again.
very, very envious. Well, you should have kept going, not parked. But although, now to talk about the vivid colors, you were in the right angle with the way that the sun was shining
Yeah.
or breaking through to give you that. But you should have kept going to see if you could find that pot of gold and that little
On that pot
leprechaun.
of gold. Oh yeah, great idea. And it almost, I mean, you could. It was surprising how much we could see. I just was my youngest daughter and her husband took me out for a late Father's Day dinner last night, and so we were out taking bring me home and look at that. Oh man, it was beautiful. I mean it is amazing how that works. Mother Nature is really can be devastating, but can really be an unbelievably beautiful. Just so
I'm a deep thinker sometimes, and I watch some of these shows about different solar systems and planets and where there possibly could be life, an exoplanet with water on the surface and oceans and you just think about just our planet alone, the weather extremes that this planet goes through from polar cap to polar anti, polar and everything in between and the seasons and the clouds, the rain, the snow, the hail. I mean, it's amazing what Mother Nature throws at this planet,
yeah.
but yeah, here we are. Here we are.
But and we couldn't do with without all of it though. That's the thing. We couldn't do without all of it.
Perfect
So
balance.
the combination can be pretty rough sometimes and brutal and dangerous. But we need all those different things around the world to make it work. and it's
I don't know if you
amazing.
followed it or not. We launched a new space telegraph here a while back, James Webb, and it's got instruments on it that we've never had in space before, clear pictures, and it's seen back beyond what they considered the Big Bang. So that it's kind of debunked the Big Bang theory at the
Mm.
time frame that they had it, because it's found universes on the edge that go back beyond that time frame. So I mean, but going back to what we were talking about as far as exoplanets with water, some of the things that it is with its spectrometers is checking for is the things that uh biochemicals and things that humans and plants and animals put off. They found a watery planet, exoplanet, about 6 times the size of Earth, 120 light years away, that's in the Goldilocks zone with its star, and that's the one place that they're really concentrating on because they believe that with all these bios and again, it has to have an atmosphere, number one, and in that atmosphere, then they have to do the spectrometer and find these different chemicals that they're looking for that is kind of a footprint of life. And uh, sure enough, they have found a planet, like say 120 light years away, that has that. So we're living in an exciting time right now. And I often wonder what will be uh, discovered, before we leave this earth. But I'll tell you what, I love keeping up with that stuff because it's just so fascinating.
I mean, I've always thought we can't be the only planet in the solar system that have some type of life, so
Not
that's
with
just me.
trillions of stars and billions
Yeah,
of universes and all the stars within each universe, just in our Milky Way alone. We can't be the only one. The
yeah,
problem is it's so far just to the center and into the other half that
yeah.
I don't think in the next 5 to 10 generations that
Never
we'll
get
even
there.
begin to see, anything remotely in our own universe. But to think that they're looking out beyond that with a telescope that has found these footprints, it kind of gives you hope. I mean, but no, the odds are that there's others that some type of life is taking hope somewhere else, not just here on Earth. But it's pretty special to think we're the only ones.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
I don't see that being the case.
Live
All
long
right,
and
Randy,
prosper.
are you about ready? Let's go ahead and let's move along to the hot topics.
Yes, sounds good to me.
Let's do that next.
Yeah.
Got the hot topics as usual. Got a couple of topics here for you. I want to say hello to Everett here. He says hot, sweaty Georgia, and I feel your pain, brother.
Got a lot of nice, great people on. Connie's here. Kane is here. Everett. We got Santa
Kane Smith
Doug,
says the same
Bill.
thing.
Man, good crowd.
Kane
Thank you,
Smith from
folks.
Alabama. I hope it's not as hot and miserable where you are. The heat is horrible, and it's pretty much set in across the South. So it's not just Texas. It's all the South. Look at this desert Southwest. They're above 100, 110 degrees, and it's summer. It's summer.
It's summer.
All right, Randy, you want to go ahead and
Yes, sir. Let's get
throw that
started
right
on
on, start working on this one.
it just it's a question I'm just curious about, of course, as always. Do you, as Santa, Mrs. Claus, or an elf, do you have a mentor? Do you have someone that mentors you to increase your craft? Or do you have a very close connection with someone in the holiday industry that you is not really a mentor, but you play off of all the time? And have you ever thought about becoming a mentor or or finding one? I'm just curious how many of you have a mentor out there that there's so many talented Santas and Mrs. Clauses and elves out there that if you want that venue to grab a hold of somebody and connect. Just wondering, do you have a mentor or a close connection with somebody that you bounce your performance information off of, or ever thought about becoming a mentor? And that's a cool job. It's a cool deal to know that the next generation of Santas and Mrs. Clauses that you can help out.
I must say I have both. I've had a handful of great mentors. Most of them have become Hall of Famers,
Yeah,
if they weren't already, which has been a really blessing to me to think that they would see something in me to be able to help me advance my career and be just a shadow of who they are. And as far as mentoring, yeah, I feel like I mentor every day. Always trying to share, always trying to help. Sometimes I'm busy and I don't get to spend the amount of time I would like to. Of course, I'm a talker, so I can talk your ear off if I had time, they have time. But I always try to help everyone. I think our whole community is a mentor. I,
that's
I don't just look at anymore as myself as a mentor because there's so many of us that try to put thought process into how to improve others, help others understand the community, your place in the community, and your place in history in Claw's history. So
that's where I was kind of going at this is that there's so many opportunities now than there wasn't years ago, um, to just work with somebody you feel a connection with. So there's so many people want to offer, and so many, oh my gosh, talented,
and I got to
heartwarming.
say, Randy, you guys at Maps have set the bar really high on that because of the way you guys work together and bounce things off each other and help develop each other and constantly uh, building each other up to become maps and who you guys are in your region.
Yeah, that's
You
why
stand
that's why
out.
we've always been we're better together, and that has to do not just with maps, the holiday community period. We're better together. We if I can help you, you can help me, and crisscross. Um, the bottom line is we're making more smiles, and that is what we need to do, and that's our job, and that's we're out. Everybody's out there to help, um, and there's a lot of people that want to help. A lot of
You
it's
know,
fantastic.
it when you look across the board in the Santa community and you start looking at regions, there's no other region that stands out more than you guys up in Michigan, Ohio, southern Canada. When your region up there just jumps out at you because of all the greats that live up there work together and make each other better. As I said, maps is a big part of that. That everything else is kind of built around that. And
Yeah,
you guys
there's
really
a
got
lot of other great. You guys in Texas do a lot great job. New York is working hard, ev- and I know everybody tries to make their performance better and assist others because that's what we want to do. I mean, that's what we want to do. So, hi Scott. I don't know Scott if you. I'm gonna. This is before the question. I'm gonna read Scott's answer. But I left you a private message, Scott, about the red suit coming up. So if you can answer that, I'd appreciate it. Um, so this is Scott. Scott says, "Yeah, a very good friend that began as a mentor is now continues to do so." So Scott does have one. Um, Everett, I started with a mentor in 1 year and bounced a lot of ideas off of him. I have a mentor I have mentored other young Santas, Mrs. Clauses, either at a school or on the internet, or would love to mentor more. Man, Everett, cool. And that's the whole thing, just to help out. I mean, that's uh, just to help out is to offer that continually to help out the new people. Um, and it's great to get the new blood into this business because it's we still want the children when we're gone or hang the red suit up. We hope that the people, everybody behind us, are still will be doing the same thing. Santa Doug, I call Jeff McMullen from time to time. Have the utmost respect for the man and gives fantastic advice. Also, it helps to have shows like Tuesday Night Live Network, North Pole Radio that helps as well. And that's what Bob said. That's a Hall of Famer he's calling. Their Hall of Famers are like here, and they're so willing to help. I mean, Rex would help you as long as the day is long. You know, he's a Hall of Fame. There's so many that will help. Um, uh, Scott Bob doesn't fall far from Gordon's tree. I mean, everybody's got. We will never forget Gordon. Um, Gordon, I have to. The first conference I went to, I was kind of a rookie connecting with outside Santas. I walked in, he stopped me at the front door, started talking, and that was it. I just was like hooked on the guy. He just so, and Gordon was one like Bob said he's a talker. Nobody was a talker like Gordon, especially at
He was special for sure.
and 1 in the morning and everything else. Um, Santa Mark used to be Bob and Barry's. I asked friends in the Santa also now. You just and that's you connect with your fellow Santas. Connie, is that good to see you, Connie? I would like to say that as a whole, the entire community has been welcoming and accepting. I am glad that AJ stumbled upon the group. Yep, is AJ here? Is Mom just here? Connie just here? Um,
Uh,
so
Bill Gorbett up there said the TNL Productions also,
yeah.
Randy.
Oh, I missed one.
I got it too.
Oh, Bill said that Productions is a. Um, we are looking forward to continuing building friendship and relationships, and that's you build it. You find that mentor, you find that person you can bounce information off with. They become a friend. They. It's a relationship with the person. Um, there we go. Hi AJ, you said you're here. Kane, I haven't found a mentor yet, but in the meantime, I found that most of my questions are answered through network shows like Bob Randyl and Company Show. Thank you, Everett. Appreciate that. Um, I hope you guys fully understand how positively you impact us up and comers by simply doing what you do. We appreciate uh, that for you to know. Thank you. That was very nice of you,
Okay,
Kane.
yeah,
Yeah,
and that was the whole premises for the TNL brand, the network that we're trying to build is to give back to the community from all the times that people like Gordon Bailey and Tom Carmody and Tim
talent.
Conahan. I mean, I can talk on the senior Santas who give back. Randy's another one of those. Randy's been in this industry before most of us even ever knew there was an industry, and he's the same way. He's always been giving, always very positive, always the first one to come to your aid and to help. So
It,
kudos.
it's it. I've been so fortunate. I was. Thank you, Bob. That was very sweet of you. I've been so fortunate through my years. Doesn't matter if it's clowning or magic. Um, I've been very fortunate, and someday that suit's going to hang up. Someday that magic wand's going to be put on the shelf, and it's I got to be thankful and give back to the community that has helped me along. Um, it's I've been very fortunate. I got to knock on wood, as lucky as I've been. So I mean, people like guys, we just got to say what Bob and Angela put together here. Nobody knows how hard they work to make this something better for the community too. I mean, I gotta be thankful for you, Bob, and what you got started years ago, and it's going stronger and stronger now. 4 days a week for free. 4 days a week for free. Talk
Yeah,
about talk about
and
an enterprise of stuff, um, and talk about a cool thing about everybody watching. There, that means there's a need and a want, and what we're doing is the right thing, and it's so cool. It's very rewarding.
and if you go back to the very beginning with Ron McLeod and Barry Cummins and Scott, Seriton, of course, who is still uh, is TNL Productions and part of the network. He's the one that's taken what my vision was and has helped me bring it to the community and is constantly there for me. So kudos to all and of course Randy and gotta say kudos to Michael and Herbie and Melissa Lynn, Santa Mel. I mean the list goes on and on and on for folks that's helped Jessica Rosa, of course, and we can't forget Spangle. We've got a great group of people, and you've heard me say this before, but it is so true. You're only as good as the folks you surround yourself with, and if you're fortunate enough to have friends in high places as I do, boy, they sure can make you look good. Thank you
Man,
to all.
you look good, Bob. You look real good. I had a friend that haven't seen you for a while. I said, "Wow, did Bob get his beard redone? It looks fantastic." It was, in fact, I think it was last week. They were watching. We watched a replay on Tuesday, and wow, Bob's beard looks good. Did he get it redone? So
Just trying to take care of,
man,
and
looking
it's
good.
important. I mean, it's so easy to rip and tear and for it to get brittle. I mean, I think, to be honest with you, out of everything that we do, that is the toughest thing is trying to keep our hair and our beard at that level where we want it. And it takes more maintenance in our suits. It takes more maintenance in our learning. It's a process. Again, a lot of things in the claws community is a labor of love, and that's another one that is a labor of love. And thank you for the kudos there.
Yeah, man. So do we get? I got Canes. Yep, we got Randy Neely's on. How are you, Randy and Debbie? Good to see you. It's hot in Dallas. I think we got everybody there. That. 19 to get Bob's special beard whitening formula. That's what Santa Doug said. Yeah, I mean it's beaming white, Bob. It's beautiful, man. It's
Thank you. And Doug, I did a presentation back in February at the North Pole Cornerstones about beard whitening, beard care, aftercare products I use, how to apply them, even videos of the process. My wife and Angela helped on that, and so again, anybody needs to know what I do, and that's the only thing I can speak for is what I've learned. I've always like to give kudos to Nellie up here at our local Sally's. She was a hairdresser forever and retired and went to work at Sally's just to have something to do part time. And the woman was so full of product knowledge and technique. And she's the one that has helped me more than anybody as far as the learning process goes. And so, I just try to pass along what people who know more about it than I do taught me. So,
and it's something that's the first thing they look at. Of course, I don't bleach until the end of the year, but that's what
right.
and we can't grow this in a day. It's a whole so you burn it, it gets whatever we bleach it too much and we lose hair. You're kind of out of work. You're out of your so it has to be a very careful process. Um,
And you can be just a couple of minutes either side
yeah,
of that target point, and it's not quite what you expected it to be. You still probably have to go back and do another, or you went too far and you've done damage. Bring the damage back is really hard to repair what's done. You mainly have to, besides product, trim it and get some of the damage out of it. But uh, I always say, and this is something that I'm a big advocate about, is do baby steps. It doesn't matter if you have to do it 3, 4, 5 times to get to reach the level of white that you want. Just don't overdo it.
don't overdo it is right. Just yeah, do a little. Stop a few minutes short of that recommended time. If you got to do it again, let it feel better after a week or two, and then do it again. But yeah, don't take the chance because, like I said, you can't grow your beard in it to get it ready for the weekend. You know.
Santa Doug. And by the way, Santa Doug, that sleigh is very nice. Very nice. You've done a great job on it. See Doug's comment, Randy?
Yeah, he goes remodeled his sleigh the past weekend. Accidentally got red paint in my beard. I freaked out, but I got it without damaging. And that's yeah, you don't want to put too much uh, cleaner to get that paint out.
Again,
Yeah.
an important part of the process that a lot of folks don't even know anything about or recognize is a pH balanced clarifying shampoo. What that really does is that helps stop the leaching process. It takes the residue off your scalp, out of the core of the hair, and off of the hair itself. Otherwise, it continues to do damage. Not only can it cause a rash or blisters on your head, but it can also do damage to the strand of hair. So uh, that's the one thing I think that the one trick that I have found that has been most beneficial for me is that pH balance neutralizing shampoo.
A lot of people don't
And Nellie
understand
tells
that.
me, she says, okay, well, you can buy this name brand over here for like $12 a 8 ounce bottle, or you can get this bottle here for $2. She grabs them both, she turns them around, and she says, compare the ingredients. Exactly the same.
Hmm.
I said, thank you, ma'am. I'll take several bottles with the
A
$2.
$2 one, yeah. Yeah, I mean, most people don't understand that when you bleach, it empties your follicles of your hair. So it leaves it like an empty tube. So that's why it becomes so brittle. And so it needs to then to be refilled with conditioner or the pH balance to fill that in to strengthen it back up. It's a whole
Correct.
it's a whole chemical thing. It's
Yeah, and it's keratin. From what I understand, it's inside that is the color.
the
And when
color, yeah.
everybody calls it bleaching, but you're actually leaching. You're leaching that color out of
Color
that
out.
straw
Yeah.
and leaves that straw hollow, which can lead to breakage. And that's why it's important to condition, condition, and then if you have any doubt, condition again. Condition in the shower, leave it in condition every day, even if you don't shower every day or wash your beard every day. Condition.
Yeah, it's a big process. It's I was my first event is November 2nd, I think. So I was starting to figure out when I've got to do my first bleaching, looking back to set the appointment. So I got a couple weeks in between to let it rest, get it rejuvenated, to bleach it again, to get it ready for the day one. And then
That's another mistake folks make is trying to bleach too often. If you bleach it, if you're going to start for the season, you want to start 6 to 8 weeks out. That way you can give it 7 days in between each bleaching to get to that acquired white that you want. A lot of guys wait till the week before or 2 weeks before and they bleach and then they try to wash it out and re-bleach the same day or bleach again the next day. That's the biggest mistake. That's where damage really happens. Gary Lender's on today. I tell you what, he's got a heck of a beard and hair, and really maintains it well too. He can tell you some things about beard and hair care.
it's
Hello,
surprising.
Gary.
We always have more conditioner and hair things in the showers than our other halves do. It just it always looks funny.
All
But
right, so we went from mentoring to hair care,
yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, hey, that's you need a mentor to make sure you don't mess with your hair.
but
But
it's okay. That's what we do. We don't care, as long as we're sharing pertinent information that folks can use and trying to give correct information. And again, one thing I will say before we move along about hair care, what works for one may not work for the next. A lot of guys use the enzyme based whitener, and I had a severe reaction to it the first time I used it.
everybody can.
Went to two different dermatologists, got a half a dozen different ointments and creams and things, and like they've never got rid of it. I literally did a class in Dixon, Tennessee in 2018 wearing gloves with the fingertips cut out because my hands were blood red and my wrists were blood red. Even with gloves on, it penetrated those gloves or got inside there somehow.
Yeah.
But here on my neck, all along my neck here, my face, my ears, it was terrible. And so everybody swears by it. I can't use it,
You can't use it. And that's
So
something it's trial and error too. But it's
that's when I
always to me
found
it's
the
always good to
sensitive
go to
scalp
a
formula.
professional first. Go to a professional first. Don't
That's when I found the ammonia free sensitive scalp formula by Ion. Again, Nelly turned me on to that, and it's been a godsend. All right,
oh
Randy, let's go ahead and
yeah, let's get up. Bob's got a great one coming up. Always as
jump
always.
in here with this one again. These are just thought provoking and see what the community thinks and starts making us think about, different things, different way of looking at things. Is there a specific type of event that you will not do? Would you say it would be something you wouldn't feel comfortable doing due to the lack of training or because you feel the pay offered is not worth the amount of preparation, time, and effort? What would other reasons be for turning down work? Of course, one for a lot of us would be adult parties where things get out of hand. Uh, Doug said the same thing. Doug Wright says adult parties with booze.
Yeah,
Great minds think alike, Doug.
liquor
That's true.
stores, bars. That's what Scott says. Yeah, and That's the first thing that comes to my mind is any. And when I was first starting out, I did a couple, and you learn the hard way. And it's like you just don't do it again. I'm sorry, we don't do pictures like that. We don't do pictures like that. We don't. It just, oh, come up and dance like. No, Santa doesn't dance like that. I mean, and you got to be in character, but it's just no. There's not enough money to take the character, and to me, you're diminishing the character and what Santa portrays and who he is, or he Mrs. Claus. Um, to do that. I agree. Oh,
Did Festival of Trees for Helping Hands charity. Big swanky hotel on the lake at the harbor. It was, I don't know, over 400 people there, all adults, of course, mayors and dignitaries from all the towns around on the east side of Dallas. It was a great event. Uh, they had a chair set up, but they mainly wanted me to just walk around and take pictures with folks. But they had an open bar. I didn't think two things about it. This was my second year. Went in, everything was rosy. I mean, everybody pretty much conducted themselves well, except for four ladies. After they had a little bit too much to drink, they got a little handsy, and
that's all it takes, though, to ruin the evening.
yeah. And then I had a friend of a friend of my daughter's actually, come up, and her friend, they had a photo booth there, the one where they got the curtain, and you get in there and you stand in
Yeah,
front of
do
the
that.
camera and you set to 4 or 5 little pictures.
Yeah,
They wanted me to go to the photo booth with them, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know, even though I know this girl, I don't know, you know. And I went ahead and kind of done it, and everything was kosher, nothing happened. But I got to thinking afterwards that would be a great place to get ambushed. So you
yeah.
just never know, never know. All right, let's jump in here and see what we got going. Uh,
Randy Neely.
Randy Neely says long distance and only 30 minutes. Very true. And Randy, you know, if you have a website or even on your Facebook business page, if you have a limitation in distance that you will do for your set price, just make sure that you put a footnote in uh, stating that you will go further for less, but it's going to cost more. You have a what I like to call a trip charge, but you can build it in any way you want to, call it whatever you want to. But if you do happen to do those, just make sure you get compensated for it and make it worth your while. And if they're willing to pay it, then you're better off. If they're not worth paying it, or they don't think it's worth paying, then you're still better off. So it works. It's kind of a win-win situation. Santa Mark in Alabama says working with pets. That's something I have to do at the mall that can be fun, but it can also be problematic.
It's okay if you know, let's say, it's pet night, or the day, whatever night or day, and then you wear the appropriate suit. You put a blanket over your lap, whatever it might be, and then you come up dressed for that. It's when they just bring whatever in the middle of the shift, and here, hold an iguana, you know, hold a pig, yeah,
Yeah,
or
I've run into those. We always pet night at my mall and across Cherry Hill pretty much has always been on a Monday night. Well, this last year they decided they were going to do 2 nights, and they put signs around the mall, but they didn't put specific nights up. They just said Santa Pet Night, come have pictures with Santa. So next thing you know, we're starting to get pets every day of the week. So
every day of the
luckily
week.
enough, I had my Christmas tree skirt that I keep handy, and I can put it in my lap if they insist that I hold the pet. Most of the time, I can, in a nice way, talk them into either holding the pet and or letting the pet sit at our feet. But something I did find out a couple of years ago that I didn't know at the time was that if it's a service animal, you cannot deny them at any time.
Well, yeah,
They come in with a service animal, you have to service them. Now, for a long time, service animals had to have documentation. You could actually ask for that documentation, but I hear now that you don't even have to have that, and don't even have to ask for it. That if they just verbally say it's a support animal, or something to that effect, then we must do it. So I caught myself this last year doing them every day of the week.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It was just onesies, and sometimes set manager will say, well, our regular pet night is Monday and Wednesday. If you'll bring them back between, 6 and 8 or 6 and 9, then that will be appropriate. But sometimes they, well, I can't do that. This is the only time I have. So you kind of have to be flexible and accommodating. Okay, Doug Wright says real estate open houses. Learned that one the hard way. That would be an interesting story. Bill Corbett says anything Mrs. C would get mad at me for. Happy wife, happy life. That's true. Santa Jeff, BRBA. I turned down one last year that wanted to book Santa and the Mrs., but they did not want Santa. Yeah. Kind of fishy there, wasn't it? That throws up a red flag. Santa Scott OK says I ask anyone at a corporate or private party to put their drinks on a table out of the picture. Santa Doug, anything that would compromise who Santa is to children and to muddy his character. We must protect the image of Santa and Mrs. Claus at all costs, and I give you 100% kudos on that one, Doug, for sure. That is that's one that should go without saying. Santa Chris says, hi guys, just joined you. I will have to watch the good stuff I missed. Yes, sir. You can always go back and catch that. Gary Linder says, I only do dog daycares. Pretty cool. Scott Serton again says, I have had turkeys, white goose, piglets, ducks, dogs, cats, miniature horses. I've had a good variety. One of the funniest things that happened with a girl that was working as an elf at the set, we had a family come in. The boy was maybe 8, 9. The little sister was a year or two younger than him, but they had a little miniature pig. He was just a tiny thing, but the girl just had to hold him. She just wouldn't take no. So the children handed the pig off to her, and its hoof reached down, and she was wearing a belly button piercing, and it ripped that piercing out, and she started bleeding like a stuffed pig.
Yeah, I get concerned sometimes with like certain types of dogs, that are known to be a little bit more aggressive. Oh, and the parents will, the adults say, oh, they're a loving dog. They love us. They love all people. But it's like children. They don't freak out until they get close, and Santa's a big character. So I get apprehensive sometimes when it comes to bigger dogs, and hold the chain or whatever, their leash, not a big deal. But it's I guess there's one other thing that you were asking about events. There's some events in the metro area that it's been years now, on a parade in Santa to do it for free. And in a parade, you're there hours ahead of time, hours in the parade and everything else. I don't
Usually
know
the
if
last float.
yeah, you're the last float, and you still got to be there when everybody else is there, and you're always on. You can't just sit there and relax. You have to. You're performing then the whole time, and I sometimes don't like to do a parade just because of in certain cities here in the metro area that some of it's gone now, thank goodness, but because of that, not just a pet thing. An adult thing for me. There's been a couple of those that are. I just wouldn't do them. I don't feel comfortable. It's not. I don't mind giving my time, but it's going to give it to a charity or handicapped or something like that more than sit afloat for a while. So that's maybe one other one for me I just thought of.
Randy Neely says Scott is Santa Doolittle.
Yeah, it is. Of course I do a big box store also, and there are a fair amount of people have different animals at a big box store, and of course they love their snakes, they love their iguanas, they love their birds, and doesn't because they love them doesn't mean I love them. So it's like I show my apprehension very, you know, um, it's hard to get that. It's hard to get that happy smile when you're holding a snake or an iguana. It takes acting. It takes, but it's all part of the gig.
So Scott got a new nickname yesterday, and he just shared it with everyone. It's Santa Clausenstein.
Clausenstein, huh?
That's what she said.
Wow.
All right, Randy. I think
That's
the
good.
comments
Good,
have
good,
stopped
good,
coming
good.
in. That was a good segment as always. I so much look forward to that portion of the show each week. I'm glad we start the show off with that because it kind of starts with a bang. Now let's move along to the santascloset.org and do our trivia for the day, and we'll be right back on the other side.
Hey everyone, Angela Mack here for Bob, Randyl, and Company Live, the show about nothing. Season 3 of Bob Randyl and Company Live is brought to you by santascloset.org, where you can find all your accessories for the discriminating Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the elves. Visit Santa Wade's website at santascloset.org today, where they are known for delivering unique, value-packed Santa and Mrs. Claus accessories since opening in 2004. The goal has always been to provide both a superior customer experience at a tremendous value. Their products are fairly priced, and Santa Wade strives to bring many different products to the Claus community. Visit the website and make your next season a truly special one. This is Angela Mack reminding you all to catch our show every Monday at 3 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to Bob, Randyl, and Company Live and today's Monday Santa's Closet Trivia.
Just want to say thank you to Wade Kaufman and Scarlett for their contributions towards the show, always being there. They are a class act, and we just want to say thank you from the bottom of our heart. All right, Randy.
Got a good question. It's back to the blanks. I love it. I love it. Are we ready, everybody? It's back to the blanks. Here we go. Here we go. In blank blank of blank, there was a sequel to Christmas Vacation. There was a sequel to Christmas Vacation. Now, what we're looking for is the name of it and who directed it. That's what the blanks are. Who produced it and who distributed, who was it distributed by? That was distributed by. Too many did for me. But in blank blank of blank, what was
the
the
actual date there that we're looking for, and that is the month, the date, and the year.
The sequel to Christmas Vacation.
Some people called it Christmas Vacation 2, which was kind of a tag name that was given to it, but it actually has a actual title. So we're looking for the date, the title of that show, who directed it, who distributed it, and who produced it. Now we went back to a tough one this week. We went easy the last couple of weeks. We thought, well, they answers were coming in just like that the last couple of weeks. So let's throw something that's going to have to do a little research.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You know what? I'm going to have to look it up because I don't remember seeing that movie before. Going to have to. I watched National Lampoon's European Vacation the other night because I wanted to just get away from the world and watch something weird. But of course, Christmas Vacation is a classic. But Christmas Vacation 2, there's another name for it, and I didn't. I'm going to have to Google it.
It's a spinoff, so it's, we'll give you that. It is a spinoff. But again, I think the search will be fairly easy when you put in there what we got, the clues that we gave you. Again, the date, we want the month, the day, and the year, the name of the sequel, the director of that sequel, who it was distributed by, and the producer. And the distributed by should be the easiest.
Yeah,
all right. Let's go ahead and let them work on that, Randy. Let's go ahead and jump into the Talbot Insurance Services video promo.
posted. You can do it RMT. Oh, sorry.
All right. Randy Neely is on the right track, but he does not have all the answers. So he does have a couple of the 5 that we need. So he's getting close. Keep working on it, Randy.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
All right. Yeah, he's really, really, really close. All you need, Randy, is the name of the sequel, if I'm looking at that correct. Anyway, you guys work on that. We're going to go ahead and move along while you play that. I want to say thank you to Talbot Insurance Services, Larry Talbot over in Georgia. One-stop shop, home, auto, business, whether it be any type of business or a clause business, it doesn't matter. And he does bundle. And I've got to say, man, it's got some great prices when you look at what he offers. So
We all need insurance. I mean, it's just not worth it for that little bit of money not to take a chance. Um, it just takes one slip of a child, and something happens or whatever. It's worth it. Or something happened to your suit. You know, these suits are expensive. You know, $3, $4, $5,000 for your suit. You know, that's the insurance paid for that long time ago that way. So get your insurance. And a lot of events want to see that insurance. They don't want to take on the responsibility. They want you to take on the responsibility. So um,
and when you look at the full season, being 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, depending on if you work with photographers, what type of gigs you do, you're still only looking at 1 or 2 gigs to pay for the whole package of insurance covers you that whole time. So, you know, just part of cost of doing business. When you're in business, you have business expenses. Insurance should be at the top of that list.
it's still a write-off at the end of the year.
Still
I
a
know
write-off.
Larry does the same thing. You get an insurance for yourself. You want to add Mrs. Claus to it, or you have an elf that works with you all the time. They can be added on. I mean, he can explain it all. He's been an expert in the insurance business for years, um, uh, and so it's necessity. I think
Sells magic and does magic.
yeah, he does
Makes
other
very
entertainment,
successful.
other entertainers. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to the Up and Chatterbox News. Today we want to talk about NPC, that's North Pole Cornerstones. We've announced our second annual sessions to be held January 31st through February 2nd, 2025 in San Antonio, Texas, at the same location as last year, Marriott Northwest. They've stepped their game up. They're glad to have us back, and they're willing to work with us even more than they did last year, if that's possible. But they are, and I got to tell you, the food and beverage side of that was phenomenal last year. This year, they've even stepped it up more. So, food and beverage side is really, really a big part of the event, you might say. So to register, go to npcornerstones.com/registration. Once you're there, just hit register now. And we've got a new third-party platform that we're using for registration, and it is so cool. Uh, I think once you get in there, if you do consider coming, you'll realize how much simpler it is this year from the way we had it set up last year. And thanks there goes out to Deanna for working behind the scenes to set all that up as she always does. Speaking of Deanna, Santa Ana Holiday University has announced that they will be in the Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona area September 26th through the 29th of this year, 2024. So, again, if you're looking to take a class and you're over in the desert Southwest or anywhere in the country and willing to travel in, Scottsdale, Arizona is a beautiful, beautiful part of the country in September as the weather starts to turn bad. In other parts of the country, the desert Southwest tends to start to cool down, and it's a great destination.
Is that where the Camelback Mountains are? Is that where the Scottsdale?
Yeah, yeah,
Man, those mountains, okay, that is the Camelback Mountain area.
yeah.
It's cool how,
And
how, how they look like a camel. They really do.
and of course there in Phoenix, you got Superstition Mountains where
Yeah.
the old gold miner went off and struck it rich and came to town and bragged about it and then went back to the mountains and never seen again. And so it's a pretty cool story there. If you've ever been to the Phoenix area, that's always a big one. Okay, real quick, and Randy, I really messed this up the last 2 weeks. I, I was good in math in school, but it's just been so many years. I just must not be thinking straight when I look at the calendar and I just glance at it and I think, anyway, officially, I pulled the calendar down and I counted, and from today it's 22 days. Now, as Scott Saraton mentioned to me when we were talking about this yesterday, since we get there quite a few days ahead of time, it seems like less time for us.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And that's probably where my mind was. But anyway, 22 days away from today. So,
School
Jeff
of
McMullen,
Santa.
Pringle University keynote speaker, July 18th through the 21st, just like to plug that for Spangle. I think he sold out. I think it's going to be one of those events where, Lord help us.
It's going to be a wild time for everybody that shows up. That's going to be there. It's going to be a wild time. And not just that. It's just going to be entertainment and education. Just it's Spangle does a bang up job. He really does.
He don't let you rest any, that's for sure. And something I do want to mention while we're on the subject of Branson. He has put the challenge out because of Chris Denning and Shannon McCann last year started something, decorating their hotel door, their exterior door to the hallway. And Spangle is making it an event this year. Even housekeeping, even the hotel, all the hotel staff are all getting involved in this. So be sure and grab your stuff to decorate your door. And the only thing that he insists that must be on there is the SOS, School of Santa's logo with the flag. And you know which one I'm talking about. It's his logo. And he will pass those out to be included in your decorations on your door. And there will be some
Wow.
prizes. There's going to be some judging by the hotel itself and some prizes. So looking forward to doing that. Okay, Randy, take it over from there.
Super fun. Super fun. And of course, we got to talk like we did briefly earlier about the 4 nights. The 4 nights here on Tuesday Night Live. Wednesday night is the Kringle Brothers, Kringle Time, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, with Michael Howe and Michael Herbie Brewer. They'll be here Wednesday nights. Um, Bang up and are full of entertainment and ideas like crazy. Michael was showing so many fun things last week. Herbie, I love Herbie and his little hat, his little reindeer hat. You got to help but smile. I mean, they just don't miss the Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, the Kringle Time. Then, of course, Thursday night is Mel's group, um, uh, Santa's Magical Fellowship on from 7 to 8. Mel's going to do. She does her show and on Zoom every week, and she posts the Zoom link. It's always so much fun. Even if it's just chatting about fellowship, is what they do sometimes, or it's they have special guests. Or but Mel is amazing. She just lets you know how special you are when you're there. She really does, and don't miss that. Then right after, of course, that is Ladies' Night. Um, it's the first and the third Thursday of every month is Erica Mitten, Wingnut the Elf, the crazy race car elf, going to entertain you and teach you and everything else. The opposite nights is Sean White. The second and fourth night is Sean White, vintage Mrs. Claus, upgrading Mrs. Claus, and so many wonderful ideas. Sean just rocks on things. She she was on a new billboard again last week. Yes, a billboard, that are on the highway. Yeah, Sean was on another one again. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. It just got raised up there. It's like to have your face that's 8x8 up on a billboard, people driving by. She's amazing. So, but Erica is funny. Don't miss Mel. That's Thursday nights. Again, that's 4 nights of, and I gotta say it again, free, free, free. Everything is those 3 nights, and it's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. Zoom, of course, is Mel's, but just to give back to the community. So that is coming up real. That's every week. That's every week. This is going on every week.
And folks want to know how they can join the Zoom fellowship. Uh, if you are not a member of Santa's Magical Fellowship group on Facebook, go over and join. Once you've joined, she puts the link up for each week's show on the page and tags everyone that is a member. That little deal now where they do a little at everyone and it goes
Just
to the
goes
whole
out to
membership. So
everybody.
you cannot miss it. It's there. And I got to tell you, AJ will let you know when it starts.
Yeah, and also Santa Scott just put a thing up. Don't forget Monday nights are Kimmy Claus, all to do with the ladies. She does a ladies special thing. It's not a Tuesday night, but it's kind of connected because Kimmy was on the show a week or so ago. So uh, that's why there's so many amazing performers. If it's ladies or men or whoever it is or up and comers, um, we always have something for everybody connected.
And,
So, and like Ken says just now, to Light Dive, do nights every night, free, free, and free. It is. It is. It is.
and
It always will be.
Diane Van wants to correct Santa Scott. Monday evenings, not Tuesdays. Scott put in there Tuesday evenings. It's actually Monday evenings. Now, with all that said,
Monday nights.
Scott is working with Kimmy behind the scenes to might have an announcement there. Let's just leave it at that. But Scott and Kimmy's been talking since the show about some really cool stuff. So
I heard they talked
anyway,
till midnight that after the show. I heard they talked till midnight, Scott and Timmy on in the green room. So
yes, they did.
they
Yes, they did.
that's what I heard. I said,
Yes,
what did
they
you pay
did.
for me till midnight? Oh my goodness. But yeah, so
Yes, they did. All right, let's go ahead and jump off of
yeah.
this and get into our TNL upcoming guest. Tomorrow night, we have the rescheduled Gig Salad with Megan Price show because of due to the storms. We lost power and all. You ain't gonna believe what happened this morning. We lost power
Why?
for almost 15 minutes, and we signed up for notifications not too long ago from the power company if something happens. Well, they sent us a notification said it was going to be out till 3 p.m. So I
Uh-oh.
was I was fixing to start making some phone calls and say, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to be on the show today because." But 15 minutes later, it came back on. And so far, as you
Wow.
like to say, it's still on and doing good. But you just never know.
You never
Anyway,
know.
so Megan Price tomorrow night, Gig Salad, providing performers a full service platform for bookings and more. Randy, take it from there.
Then July 2nd. July, it will be July then. 2nd. Julie Cracky. Hope I got it right. Cracky. Thermapparel. Um, man, those things are amazing. They are state of the art cooling vest, belts, front, back. They're thin. They don't push up your body like this. Um, you got to see them, guys and ladies. I think even some of the belly ones, the ladies could even wear if they're doing the warm
Yeah,
gigs in the thing. Oh, they have
the
that's right.
rhythm,
They have the arm ones too now,
rhythms.
don't they? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
I mean,
she's
she's
got a
got a
lot of new
variety of.
products. She's got a lot of new product that they've come out with, and that's what she wants to come on is debut some of her new stuff. But real quick, not only is the apparel, the material it's made out of, the way it fits you, state of the art, but their cooling packs are far superior to anything I've seen. And so, okay, let's continue.
Excuse me. Then July 9th is Santa Mitch Allen, actually head elf. He also does Santa too. Mitch
Mhm.
Allen from Hire Santa. He's going to talk about what's going on at, of course, Hire Santa, what he has available coming up this season, if it's full time, if it's weekend warriors, if it's all that kind of stuff he's got to do, if it's something in another country. Mitch has got stuff, and he's also going to talk about his Google connection with Google Calendar and your Google Calendar to make it easier to see if you're available or not. Instead of bothering you with an email, if you guys are connected with Mitch, he'll know if you're booked or not, so they won't bother you, him and Jenny. So don't miss Mitch Allen. We don't miss him on Thursday nights either. He's right before Mel, so you can watch his State of the Season address also on Facebook. Then the 16th, 24 days, no, 20, whatever that is. I can't do the math now either. 22 days, but this is the 16th, so it's a couple days before.
16, so it's going to be less than that by 2
Less than
days.
that,
So
so
it's going to be
20th.
20,
It's going to be the Branson
20,
Live
20 days.
preview show about all what's going to happen in Branson. And going to have Spangle, going to have Jessica there, going to tell everybody about the presenters. It's hard to talk much more about Jeff McMullen, but I'm sure he'll talk about Jeff, all about the parade that they have set up and about the food. Then we got special guests joining in a round table, Judy and Rick Maynard, about the book they wrote and maybe even a movie or whatever Rick was talking about. Shh, don't say anything. I'll let them talk about that. But
So of course, on that show, we'll also have Scott.
Scott will be there.
I'm not sure if Jeff, I'm not sure if Jeff's going to be there by that time or not. I heard he might be, but if he is, we'll get him on too. But it'll be whoever's there in Branson on that Tuesday night is more than welcome to come in, watch the show, and even, say a few words.
Then, of course, the 18th, 2 days later, is at Branson, live in Branson. So that'll be a
Thursday night,
special presentation right there, live walking around to see the vendors, to meet people that are there, the 100 and plus Santa's Mrs. Clauses that are there. That'll be a special show on the 18th
Yeah,
with
Bob,
Bob, Scott,
Mel, AJ.
AJ. Everybody's going to be there doing that. Fantastic. Then, to think this is going to be the end of July already. July 30th, Bruce Kotowich, which is Santa Bruce from Canada. He is Bruce Guerin, is also the other name some people know him by. He will talk about he's a director or a professor, whatever his title is, in the Windsor Academy of Creative Arts. Phenomenal gentleman, designer beard, but just phenomenal to talk about how to take care of yourself, your voice. I saw a thing posted today on Facebook. How do you take care of your voice for laughing and ho 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 and all year long and everything else? Bruce can walk you through that and you won't have a problem. I mean, it is amazing how he knows how to get you set for it and keep you healthy during it. Because man, we can really strain our throat. We really can. We can really strain that.
We're going to see if we can't get him to give Scott some singing lessons.
Well, Scott sings solo, doesn't he?
Yes.
Solo, hoping nobody will hear him. That's
Uh,
yeah, that's the way I sing. Yeah, so believe that's already going to be the end of July already. Oh, that's just it's hard to believe.
and if and we have more already penciled in for future dates beyond that, but I didn't have any more room to put them there on our little cheat sheet. So
yeah, we can do a month in advance, and we'll and then then it's the first weekend then in August, which is the Red Suit Conclave up in Saginaw, Michigan. 2 days, actually, second, third, and fourth at the 4 Point Sheraton in Saginaw. We have over nine classes now, I think it is. There'll be vendors, of course, fellowship and everything else. Bruce will be there talking to these guys here, Scott and Mr. Bob, to be there for us. We can take care of Tuesday Night Live. Would love to have them. Be great to have them up there seeing. Of course, Spangle's going to be there, so it'll be a wonderful weekend. The Red Suit Conclave, that be our 6th year now doing that. So up in MAP. So I'll be posting more stuff on the website, on MAP's website, and of course all the Facebook pages about that coming up this week. Now
Scott wants me to go ahead and mention throw it here in the comments for me. But the first weekend in August, we'll have Jim Langley, Santa Jim Langley, in Oklahoma. He's 50 plus years performing as Santa.
Wow.
He has been to all the major schools, and he's a phenomenal gentleman in character and in knowledge. One of the most knowledgeable Santas in our industry, and he's not that well known. He's behind the scenes. He's quiet when it comes to being out in the social media platform, but a heck of a nice guy. So he will be our guest the first Tuesday in August.
just the questions he's been asked throughout these years, the situations, the places he's performed. I mean, it just to hear all that's going to be great. I mean, 50 years, that's a long time. That's a long time. I think it's phenomenal. And another one that wants to give back. Just
Scott says most humble Santa he knows. So I agree with him. Jim's very humble. Okay.
wow.
Do we have a winner for our trivia?
Man, we do, and it was just crazy.
She says, man, we're doing it was just crazy.
I don't see how, Angela, you keep track of that. I don't know how, because I look over there and there's one answer, two answers, three answers, one answer here.
She gets so mad at me for making them with all those multiple answers.
Very carefully.
Oh my goodness.
She
I'm
has to,
amazed.
so like I say, it's very crazy.
Uh,
All right, let's go ahead and give them the answer, Randy.
All righty, guys. I will repeat the question. It's an easy one. In blank blank of blank, there was a sequel to Christmas Vacation. What was the name of it? Who directed it? Who produced it? And who distributed it by? The answer is December 20th of 2003. Wow, 21 years ago. December 20th of 2003. It was called Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure. Good, gotta love Cousin Eddie. Without Cousin Eddie in those movies, he makes the movies.
He
The
definitely
director
does.
was Nick Marek, Marck,
Right.
Marek, and of course distributed by National Poon Incorporated. That's pretty much was a given since it was a Christmas Vacation movie. Producer was Elliot Friedgen, Friegeden, so no D there. Oh, there is a D. Yeah, Friedgen. So
Angela,
December
don't keep
20th.
us in suspense any longer.
Okay, so this person, they fought their way through with the comments and they got it, and it was Randy Neely.
Randy Neely.
All
Yeah,
right.
he was
We're so
throwing us
close
up
there for a
quick,
minute, Randy.
and he was
Come on, you
missing
got a couple
pieces.
more. A couple more. Is it in there? Oh, there it is there.
Very good. Well, that's a good win. We're happy for Randy on that one, and I kind of got to tell you, nobody plays harder than him and Debbie. They work so hard trying to win these things, and I know it can get frustrating, but boy, he came through today. Congratulations,
Good job,
Randy.
Randy and Debbie. Good job.
All right, are we ready for TIPS? And we're not talking about
Ready,
toilet
ready,
paper.
ready. Ready, ready, ready.
All right.
Actually, the ball nose has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about. I just wanted to put it on. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much again for letting me do Santa's tips. I am so blessed and so thankful I get to do these. And since it's getting so close and it is getting close. A lot of us are booking events already and everything else. And since it's only 183 days still, that's still Christmas, of course. And it's far less if we're doing shows in October, November. Far less than that, maybe 150 days is all it is, 145 days, 40 days till your first event. And so I know I did this last year, but it's something that not everybody has seen is a checklist that I make sure that I think everybody should have. This, of course, is a Santa checklist for me, so it might not be the same work quite as good for Mrs. Claus. But it's a checklist that I've made up for myself to make sure that I don't forget anything. Many, many years ago, I was doing I was doing a parade, a tree lighting, and I get there because I had went from an event to, actually from my real job to the event. I had to pack up in the morning and go. And I get there and I didn't have a hat. And this was before I was real. I was designer beard and a wig. So you can't really go without a hat when you have a designer with a hat on with a designer wig. So I was going, boy, ever since then, I make a checklist. But thank goodness I borrowed a stocking hat that was red and white striped, and it worked. I didn't really care for it, but it was better than not having one. But when that happened, I made sure that I was not going to forget all the things I need. So I made a checklist um, that I make sure I go through on a regular basis. If it's just the basics, that I have a backup suit, that I have my boots, my belt, my hat, my glasses, a backup pair of glasses in case a pair break. Um, all that stuff. I just make sure that I do. If my phone, my keys, my money, whatever I might need, water, something, snacks. If you got a long day, I put as many things on here as possible. A lot of things I don't need all the time. A lot of things if I'm doing, let's say my big box store, I don't need a lot of these. But if you're going to a home party, you want to make sure you don't forget the magic. You want to make sure you don't forget the candy canes if you need them. You want to make sure you don't forget those things. So I made a checklist just to make sure that, because you don't want to forget. You don't want to forget that you talked about doing something special for the child and you forgot the naughty and nice letter. Oh, well, this would remind you, don't forget the naughty and nice letter, wherever that is on here. There it is there, the naughty and nice letter. So it's just a reminder. Like I said, you're not always going to need everything all the time, but it's when you miss it, we just don't. And Santa can't miss it, and Mrs. Claus can't fly there and bring you. So I totally recommend you folks make one up. If not, I'd be glad to post this, and you can change this any way you'd like. It's just mine, but my suggestion is that you always have one to make sure that you are, as the Boy Scouts go, always prepared. We want to make sure that, actually, Scouts now, isn't it? It's not Boy Scouts anymore; it's just Scouts. That you do not miss anything or forget the things you might need, belts, whatever it might be. You got to make sure you don't forget your bells, whatever it is. But I can do that. And since we are booking this time of year, I don't. A lot of you folks have them, of course. Mostly everybody here does have performance confirmation letters. A contract basically is what it is. I use two different ones. This is the one I use more than anything. It is a performance confirmation, but I call it more of a performance confirmation than a contract. Some, especially if you're doing house parties, some, not all, get a little apprehensive when you say, I'm going to have a contract. I'll send you a contract. And let me email you a contract. Oh, a contract. What do you need a contract, Santa, for? Performance confirmation sounds a little bit lighter, a little bit softer. And I just let them know, so we're all on the same page. You know exactly when I'm going to be there. I know when you're going to be there. We know where we're going to park, so on and so forth. Everything, we're all on the same page. So I use this, actually, as you can tell, this is used for all my businesses, not just Santa. I use the same one for my magic, my clowning, whatever. But it's something that is necessity to make sure. And even if you don't send this out, you can use, this is the one if I don't send it out, this is what I use for the information page more than, even though it does say performance confirmation on it. I'll sometimes use this. It's just my information sheet. Just if I'm not, I very seldom do any events anymore without a performance confirmation. But just to have my list. So I keep a paper copy. Yes, I'm still old school. I keep a lot of paper copies. I'm a little too old school when it comes to that. It's great to have things on my computer, but I can't bring my computer with me. So I sometimes will bring a paper copy. I always bring a paper copy of my contracts or confirmation letters. But it's always good to have these. Again, I'll be glad to post them. All you'd have to do is just cut off, change the heading, of course, the name, the address. You can use it. I don't mind. I know I got this from somebody. This one I did make up myself. No, this one I got from somebody. This one I made up myself. But I'll be glad to post it if you'd like. No problem at all. But don't work without one, because it talks about if you're going to get retainer ahead of time, when payment is, how payment is, if it's Venmo, if it's a check, if it's cash. So everybody's on the same page. It's in the way, it's just the way the world has been for years. We need these. We need these. So also, um, since I made a comment, especially for house parties, uh, like I said, they get a little apprehensive sometimes if you do say the word contract. That's why I did the performance confirmation. That's why I did when it comes to magic. You're doing a birthday party for a 6-year-old. You got to send me a contract for a birthday party for my 6-year-old. No, I'll just send you a confirmation, performance confirmation. It sounds better. Then I have these. These are actually, especially if you're doing a house party, it's something I also can post. It gives you a breakdown of each child, first child's name, their age, their birth date, the grade they're in, what they like in the subject, special notes. Of course, this is all about the family, any other additional information. These I use, especially if I'm going to a house, and I can, especially if it's a new house party. These came out when I did virtual more than anything because they were great for virtual. I filled them in, and then I, of course, kept it right next to me, and I knew everything about the child doing virtual. But they work just as good if you're doing a new house party. You just email them this to the parent, have them fill that out, and then you can learn things about the child. Now, you're not going to want to bring this along. I would suggest, do I even have, do I have one here? Oh, here we go. Maybe I can do here. My recommendation is, after you have all that information, get a cool little book like this. These are very inexpensive, unique little books. They're just little. And then if you're doing a house party, put all that information in here, in one of these. Write it down so you can bring this along. And if you happen to sneak a peek, you're going to look. It's not going to look like you just did something off the computer. So we want to keep the mystery alive, and just even adding it to a small, cool looking little book that probably, I don't know, it might have been eBay, or knowing me, it was probably eBay. But you can put all the information down and you can do your sneak peek because you have the information that you sent ahead of time. But because then it looks so much more magical when you know, Lisa was 6 and her puppy is Betsy, and whatever it is. But you'll have all that information here for your home visit. You can send that along at the same time you send your performance confirmation out. They send them both back to you. Of course, you can email them. You don't have to, snail mail any of this stuff. It's just keeps everybody on track, everybody on the same page, so nothing gets lost. That's why I especially lost when it comes to not taking things and bringing things. If you got to bring gifts, or if you've got to bring candy canes or props along because you are reading. Last year you read The Night Before Christmas. Well, you don't want to do that again, but you got to bring it, so you bring another book. You just remember things like that. So it's just some ideas for the season, since it is coming up rather quickly. That you just get a little. We all need to be organized, and I can be as scattered can be. So I need to be organized in these ways to make sure that I keep on track, and so I don't miss anything. And I have through the years, or to make sure you don't double book. I even I will. I don't know if I can show this without messing things up. I even want to show you guys. We put in your phone. Put in your phone what you're doing. I don't think it's not going to show. I have actually color coordinate my events on my phone, on my Google Calendar. So because they allow you to have like 20 different colors, I actually will color coordinate. If I know I'm doing my big box tour, that's a certain color. If I know I'm doing a house visit, those house visits are certain colors. It just makes me look and to keep more organized. Because we don't want to, for one thing, we don't want to double book and everything else. And then with my first glance, I can see, oh, it's red. That means it's the Santa house. or it's this color, it means the big box store, or it's purple, it means it's a house party. So I remember that through the years. So just as organized as we can get um, is the best way to be. Because then it takes one less things off our shoulders, Mrs. Claus's shoulders, to make sure that we can then portray our character and keep those smiles as much as we can during the event. Thank you again, everybody, for allowing me to be able to ramble on like I do. I thank you so much. Love you all so much for joining us. See you soon.
Randy, call it rambling, or those pieces of paper you were holding. I call it money.
it's necessity for me.
Necessity, money.
Yeah, it's
Great
necessity.
job, my friend. As always, man, there's a lot there to take in, but every bit of it was
Any comments that have starred?
pertinent. Okay. Let me back out of my full screen and see what those starred comments are that Angela has here. Doug Wright says, please post it.
I'll be glad to.
Santa Jeff says, Randall, Santa always checks his list twice. Thank you for bringing this up. We would love to see your checklist. And Santa Kevin says, can you post those forms?
Be glad to, guys. Be glad to.
Post those forms. Post those forms. Why?
Because we do it for free and we do it for you guys. The biggest thing
right.
we do is for the children. I mean, and because you guys and ladies, excuse me, bring so many smiles to the children out there. It's just
always here for you. Always here for you.
Always.
Okay, Randy, fantastic. Let's go ahead and jump into our nightcap. This week, our book is I Spy Christmas. Gene Marzullo is the author. Walter Wick is the illustrator. Now, this comes in paperback and hardcover.
Wow.
Scholastics Inc. put out in September 2019. And if the paperback has 32 pages, the hard copy has 40. And Angela's going to roll our footage. You know, Jean unfortunately passed away back in 2018. She had written over 100 books, and a lot of them, especially the I Spy series, which is a series of different books. As the title says, I Spy Christmas. There's many, many others in that line of I Spy, and that was an award-winning. When I look at these, I always try to, pick the best of the best and the ones that I think that the children are going to like the most. This has got a larger children age group associated with these particular series. The one thing that jumped out at me though was Barnes and Noble listed this particular book as the number one on their best book picks for Christmas kids 2024. That
Wow.
list was 20 strong, and this was their number one pick. So
Wow.
fantastic. Again, a great book, interactive book because in all of the collage of pictures, as the wording goes and it rhymes, you've got to find the things in the pictures that the story is about. And great book to interact with children. And again, take that, put that in your book bag, carry it anywhere you tell a story or read a book or just want to have fun with the children. Fantastic way to do it.
It's
All
just
right, Randy.
amazing how many books are out there. I mean, it's amazing how many, and you can get some that are a couple minutes long if you need to fill in short. This is so cool to be interactive, and
Yeah.
that makes a and I'll say is a routine, because I say magic is a routine like you're doing. It's a whole routine with the whole thing with reading a book to the children. It's very cool, very cool.
Well, and to think that she wrote over 100
That's a lot.
books. I mean, that is phenomenal in itself. And Walter Wick was the illustrator on many of those books, award-winning illustrator and photographer. And it's one other thing was she was part of the Scholastic School program. She answered and contributed, answered questions, helped put those Scholastic books out. I know everybody remembers Scholastic scholarships when we were in school. At least if you're our age, you will remember those. She was a big part of that, and she was just her contribution to the literature world is just amazing, amazing.
Wow.
All right, Randy, great show, man. I tell you what, I don't know how they get any better. Each week they just seem to blossom and blossom. And of course, again, that's because of our viewers and those who participate. You come in here and listen to us and watch us, and we're here, always here for you. And we just want to say thank you to everyone again. Don't forget about the TNL network lineup, 4 nights. Our upcoming guest got some great shows coming on Tuesday night. So thanks, everyone. Hope to see you tomorrow night for Megan Price, Gig Salad. If not, catch the replay. They're all recorded. And hope you come back to see us next week. Thanks for joining us. Yes, sir. Stay cool, stay dry, stay warm. If you're in the desert Southwest, it's monsoon season. Rick says, or Santa on a motorcycle, and he also mentioned real quick that Lost Dutchman mine in Phoenix was the one we were talking about in the Superstition Mountains. So
Wow.
fantastic, guys! Thanks. See everyone later.
Bye, guys. See you soon. Thank you.